Okay, so nice to meet you today. Firstly, thanks to every one of you who are here today for the first international pan-European event that we plan within this project. I'm Lorenza Leita. I'm the project coordinator of this project, promoted by the Italian Feldenkrais Association Guild and with in partnership with three more partners. They are the German Feldenkrais Association Guild, the International Feldenkrais Federation, and the Italian Association for Fibromyalgic Syndrome. So we are four partners. And this event is organized within Feldenkrais4life, that is a first pioneering project for association gathering professionals in Feldenkrais method. This is the first we do. And it's funded under the program Erasmus+. The project lasts 2 years and will end the next January 2026 with the final, and we really hope, a great open conference in Brussels where you are all invited since now. And yes, as I said to you, this event is the first of 3 planned online meetings coordinated by German partner, by Elisabetta Abate, who is the representative of the German Guild. And anyway, regarding the project, you can find a lot of information, and I really suggest you to go to the website. The address is in the chat, but anyway, is Feldenkrais4life, for in a number, .eu. Just a few notes of the project here. Feldenkrais4life aims at enhancing professional contribution that Feldenkrais practitioners can make in the evolution of our society and sustain paradigms based on ecology of health, well-being, continuous learning of the individuals. This is very important because defines 3 main focus of this project. Internally, it addresses the Feldenkrais practitioners across Europe, stimulating a process for growing professional identity and improve their capacity and effectiveness to promote oneself to the other. Within the background of European policies anyway, because we live here in this continent. And internally, it addresses also to professional association of Feldenkrais, and it aims at enhancing their vocational training capacity. And one issue is for all, a capacity with a higher capacity to work together in an international and above all, cross-sectoral perspective. Last but not least, externally, this project addressed all those who can have an interest in Feldenkrais method, the so-called stakeholders of Feldenkrais world. They can be single citizens, beneficiary of this method. They can be professionals from other disciplines. They could be managers or employer in institutions that can be interested in introducing this method. For example, learning contexts such as schools, or rehabilitation or medical contexts like hospitals and rehabilitation centers, for example. So for this goal, the project wants to promote visibility and awareness of what this method is, how the Feldenkrais practitioner could contribute significantly to any healing, learning, or individual wellness development process. So this is really the background where you are now participating in this event. So I let you the mic, Elisabetta.
Yeah, thank you, Lorenza. Thank you so much. So now I would like to briefly summarize our goals for today's meeting. Before we show a video, an animation, just to explain what the Feldenkrais method is to those of you, the participants who may be less acquainted to it, because we invited not only fellow colleagues, Feldenkrais colleagues, but also professionals from other sectors, right? And also pupils or clients or patients. So our goals today are to present some key findings from the international survey that the project conducted earlier, it was actually last year in the first year. Especially as far as the question of multiprofessionalism is concerned. Further, we shall share insights from 2 previous online meetings that we held about 2 specific fields of multiprofessional work and cooperation. One was held in Italian with a colleague who is a physical therapist alongside a Feldenkrais practitioner. And the other meeting was held in Germany, with a colleague who is a psychotherapist. So we cannot share the partial recordings of those events, unfortunately, but we can send the link into the chat in case you wish to watch the interviews to our colleagues, Paola Dolfi, the Feldenkrais teacher and physical therapist from Italy, and Susanne Herzog, the Feldenkrais practitioner and psychotherapist from Germany. So I see the link in the chat, right? Okay. Then the third goal, maybe the main goal, is to foster a multivocal conversation among all participants today. Yes, now I see it. Now I see it in the chat. As I said, before delving into the topics and the conversation, we would like to share a video. It is a brand new animation created by a Belgian group, and we also take the chance to thank them for permission to share it with us. By the way, it's available on YouTube, so you can also maybe see the link to the animation in the chat. Not yet.
Lorenza, can I just sorry, Elisabetta,
yes.
Can I just add one thing?
Of course.
For that video, that if people use it, that they should refer to the YouTube link as a sharing, so that people who made it, the people in Brussels, the training, Feldenkrais education, it's their video, and so that was the condition to use the link.
Yes.
That was.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so exactly, we are sharing the link, and this is okay, I didn't get it, that it is also a requirement for today's participants in case they want to use it on their website, for example, or okay, thank you so much for this point. Okay, so shall we watch the video now? Oh, just a second, because someone cannot copy it. Okay, we will solve this problem.
You are a bundle of habits. So many of your actions are automatic behaviors you execute with almost no thought. But how did you learn them? Humans are a bit odd in the animal kingdom. We're born with unfinished brains, and frankly, quite helpless at the beginning. Most animals hit the ground running, or at least wobbling, within hours after birth. Us? We take years just figuring out how to coordinate our limbs, differentiating up from down, understanding left and right, a learning full of trial and error that requires a lot of attention. and time. But eventually, these bumbling explorations become second nature. Habits are great. Not only do they play a vital role in shaping our lives and defining who we become, thanks to habits, we don't need to spend time and energy thinking about how we do what we do every time we perform an action. But sometimes, they're like that one old song stuck in your head, annoying and hard to change. Worse even, some of these habits lead to physical, mental, and emotional pain. So, how do we rewrite these deep-seated scripts of ours? Well, just like we learned them in the first place, through experimentation, the use of attention, and sensing differences. And this kind of learning is at the heart of the Feldenkrais method. Moshe Feldenkrais, the brain behind this method, was quite the Renaissance man. In the 30s, he studied electrical and mechanical engineering at the Sorbonne in Paris. In parallel, he became a judo black belt, one of Europe's first, and co-founded the first jiu-jitsu club in France.
Celui-ci a eu le prix Nobel, c'est Frédéric Joliot, son professeur de judo, M. Feldenkrais, est aussi au laboratoire son élève et collaborateur.
Then, one day, his knee decided to rewrite his story. Faced with a recurring knee injury and a surgery thought to have a 50% success rate, he refused the operation. Instead, he dove into the study of anatomy, kinesiology, physiology, and how not to hurt when I walk. This research, combined with his knowledge of engineering and martial arts, inspired his method, a new field of education based on the wild concept of, well, paying attention to how we move. There are two ways to practice the Feldenkrais method. There's functional integration, FI, which is hands-on and personalized.
With the hands, you touch the person involved and you are supposed to find out what he needs, and also with your hands convey to him a way of organizing himself which is better for him.
Then there is awareness through movement, or ATM. And in these lessons, you're guided verbally through a structured sequence of movements, also aimed at suggesting new ways of moving that are more efficient and pleasant.
And as you are turning, are you leaning more on your right sitting bone or on your left sitting bone?
A unique and important aspect of the method is that it often focuses on bringing about a more skeletal use of oneself. The skeleton in movement is the part of ourselves that bears weight and transmits force. And because of our habits, we tend to underuse that and overuse our musculature. A more skeletal use of ourself will often lead to less muscular effort and therefore changes in posture, comfort, mobility, stability, range of motion, and reduction of pain. In order to discover more efficient, skeletal ways of moving, Feldenkrais lessons use all sorts of strategies, guiding our attention to different sensory aspects of a movement, exploring coordination, timing, and relationships between different body parts, utilizing small and slow movements to enhance our sensitivity and processing of sensory information, systematically varying the orientation in which we do a movement, challenging our balance to create better balance, active imagination and visualization, and many more strategies. Probably, the most empowering aspects of the method lie in its capacity to improve your daily life and enhance your abilities. Practitioners around the world use the strategies of the method in a wide array of professional contexts, working with babies and infants with special needs, improving performance for actors, musicians, dancers, and athletes, helping people who suffer from chronic pain, prevention or re-education after an illness or injury, and even working with animals. The Feldenkrais method offers benefits across a wide range of domains because movement is central to all human activity. According to Feldenkrais, movement, thought, sensation, and emotion are intricately connected, forming the core components of who we are and everything we do. And movement is concrete and immediately accessible. Improve the way you move, and you'll change the way you feel, the way you think, and the way you sense or perceive the world and yourself. When asked to describe his method in one sentence, Feldenkrais said, "Know thyself." This method isn't just about improving movement organization or changing habits, but also about the mental and emotional self-awareness this process brings about. It's a way of discovering who we are and who we can become. Because moving better is great, but how about living better? Explaining the Feldenkrais method is like explaining the taste of a mango.
Unless you eat it, you don't know what the taste is.
So why don't you try it yourself right now by clicking on this link?
Thank you. I would like, as project coordinator, just to formally thank Feldenkrais Education that let us use this wonderful video that in few minutes is able to explain and outline the principles of this method. And you are free now to look and look again, because maybe now the reaction had not the best resolution, but you can go yourself and see again. Thanks, because in a few minutes we could explain to you or to give you hints of what the Feldenkrais method is.
Yes, exactly. And we wanted to share it because it is brand new, the second reason, and it's wonderful also for practitioners. Let me try to move to the conversation now, and let me just ask a question. And I would like to invite you just to raise your virtual hand on Zoom to let us know if you are not Feldenkrais practitioners. Are there any participants today who are not Feldenkrais practitioners? Could you please raise your hand, the virtual hand? No?
I see Maria Mondin that is raising the hand.
Okay. Oh. Roberto Casale as well, through an iPhone.
If you can, try to raise your hand with the application by Zoom, because there are several pages, so we can see everyone, cannot see everyone.
Yes, exactly. And someone wrote, I'm practicing, what it means to be a practitioner. Oh, okay. It means that you are certified, so you went through a teacher's training, a formal training, and are allowed to teach the Feldenkrais method. So it's another way to say Feldenkrais teacher. So the next question is, are there Feldenkrais pupils, clients, or patients among us today? And again, if you could please use the application on Zoom to raise your virtual hand, this would be easier, because then your image would jump to the top and we could see. So it seems that so most of us are Feldenkrais teachers. And the next and last question for this part is, are you also a professional in another field within healthcare, broadly defined as Lorenza said? It can be in the field of medicine, psychotherapy, etc. So one hand, two. Mm-hmm. Five participants raised their hands. 6, 7, Mm-hmm. Oh, you cannot find the hand. So it's under reactions. More and more positive answers. 15 so far. So maybe this will increase. Yes?
No, okay. I think that
Okay.
more or
So
less we
feel
had
free
the feeling of.
to raise your hand. So as you raise your hands, I would like to ask Lorenza to share some insights from the survey with us, exactly as far as this point is concerned.
Yes,
so Lorenza.
yes. I do think also that I need to do a little bit of the introduction. Okay, let's just share the screen. Let me see if you are able to see the screen. But meanwhile, I would like to give you some premises for what is the international survey, because this is the first activity of the project Feldenkrais4life. And it was an international survey to better understand who the Feldenkrais practitioner is and how they work across Europe. It allowed us to gather 766 questionnaires throughout Europe, and you see in the map on the left the colors of the countries who participated. So the stronger color have and collected more questionnaires than others. But you can see here that we had more or less 69%, 65% of respondents from Italy, Germany, and France, because they are, we expected that because they are the partner countries of this funded project. But we have a small presentation representative also from other countries. And here you see in the listed from the biggest to the lowest. So Switzerland, who provided 70 respondents, UK 35, Spain 36, 33, and so on. This allowed us to make some insights because, of course, the survey couldn't describe the situation in a very statistically proven way. But the sample is sufficiently representative of the population of Feldenkrais teachers across Europe. We estimate, or we know from data, sure data from International Feldenkrais Federation, that we have nearly 4,000 practitioners, Feldenkrais practitioners, in other words, Feldenkrais teachers across Europe. But we also know that most of people who take the certification and they are allowed to teach this method after 4-year training, they don't associate to the national guilds. So this sample of 776 people were more or less 70 from members of national guilds, and the other 30 they were not members. So we could say that the overall sample is representative enough. Notwithstanding, the statistics that we calculated are just describing the situation of this sample, and they don't do projection inference to the bigger population. So they are useful for us to outline the phenomena that we wanted a little bit more to study and analyze. And this is a very important premises. The second important premises for today is the healthcare. Because with healthcare, we intend the healthcare sector as an integrated and unified field, emphasizing collaboration among professionals involved in different disciplines for healing, preventing, and overall promoting well-being in individuals. This is the interpretation that we give to healthcare that is also follow the European policies that European Commission has developed for the last 20 years. In fact, for European policies, the common goals are prevention, promote preventive healthcare and disease prevention, also to foster cross-sectoral collaboration, and then to offer and to provide services for all, the access and the equity and equitable access to healthcare services for all. And when I cite and I mention European policies, I mean from the, for example, the directive on the recognition of professional qualification, that is a directive of 2005, so 20 years ago, but also the EU for Health program, that is a current program from 2021 to 2027. So this program release funding to people who wants to do project trying to fostering and following, helping to achieve this objective of collaboration, prevention, and equitable access to services. But there is also the Europe Pillar of Social Rights, for example, or the Green Paper on Mental Health. Surely you know something about that, because any nation, any member states every year usually celebrated in a week of mental health, and so on. So this is important to say, just to give the limitation and the right premises of this survey. So going on, what we wanted to say, or what we knew, is that Feldenkrais method address many contexts, and the professionals of Feldenkrais methods are often they are also they do other professions like physicians, psychologists, physiotherapists, and much more, because sometimes they are actor, musicians, artists, doctor, teachers, and so on. So there is a good overlapping between the Feldenkrais practice and other job practice, and we wanted a little bit to have some more data across Europe. So you see here from these diagrams that the people who we interviewed with this questionnaire, more or less around 60% of them have multiple occupations. So who is really devoted to only one job are 40 persons, and these should be Feldenkrais teachers. But there are also Feldenkrais teachers that do as secondary job. And you see the green part, the 40%, and then in 18%, 19% as primary job. you see that the multiple are more or less 60%. And if you go on the right diagram, you see that also in here I show you just the partner countries, so France, Germany, and Italy. But if you are interested to know what kind of figures we collected from other countries, you can also have a look of the report that now is in English and is available on the project website. And you see that more or less these three countries follows the proportion. So we asked people if they have further qualifications, and here the data are aggregated, and you see that 90% said that yes, they have another qualification in healthcare as medical field, and 18% more, they have other qualifications for healthcare jobs that are not strictly medical, but other disciplines addressed to well-being and rehabilitation and so on. Holistic approach to the health. Then there is a 25% of education and training, so qualification as teachers, educators, and in the learning field. And other in artists like dance, theater, music, singing, and sports also. And there is a final 8% in business or HR development, because we have also employers who are interested in getting Feldenkrais teachers and then integrate this practice or this approach in the HR development, for example. So if they have multiple qualifications, it doesn't mean that they work in both qualification or the multiple qualification that they have. So we asked people who are, they were all Feldenkrais teachers, Feldenkrais practitioners. But we asked to those who who don't practice Feldenkrais as primary job. We asked them what are the other sectors where they are employed or they are devoted. And you see here that there is an unknown cluster of others, means that we gave a list of 25 items with different professions that we wanted to test it. But of course, this was not an exhaustive list. And so we added other, and means that they are employed in other profession, in other occupations, and we are not strictly interested in. But you can see the other, and you see that education and training collected more or less 18% of this cluster of people. Healthcare and health and wellness is about 23%. So you see a significant proportion of the sample of Feldenkrais practitioners work primarily in a healthcare occupation. And this is why we wanted to open this series of international events, pan-European events, dedicating the first one to the healthcare. The following things that we could be interested is to understand, okay, if you have multiple occupation, one is Feldenkrais practice, the other one is another job, probably in healthcare, but how far are you able to integrate these two occupations? Do you integrate, or they are separate occupations? So the answer was 55% keep as separate practice. But there is also a good proportion of 31% that they declare to partially integrate the different occupations. It means that they could use this approach if they are perhaps physiotherapists. If they are doctors, also they could integrate, or they could also doing different level. And we are now interested to know how far. It's interesting now. The project would like to collect good practices of this way of working. Finally, we asked if they have ever worked in a keep in a multidisciplinary way with other professionals in other disciplines. And you see that from this histogram that enough, they say that never worked. There is a good proportion, about 50%, that yes, rarely or sometimes they did. And there is a smaller proportion that they declare that they often works together with other professionals to improve, to offer an improved process to the individuals. These are the data that we collected, and now maybe they make you think something about your experience. The last one is about the professional with whom Feldenkrais practitioners interact most. And I just highlighted in yellow the professionalities that refer to the healthcare. So physiotherapist, psychologist, osteopath, physicians, psychotherapeutics, alternative therapies, orthopedic, and naturopath. And you see, the data say that yes, Feldenkrais practitioners can, and some of them works with other professionals. So could we improve it? What are the benefits of this working together? I think that these are a few questions that Elisabeth will make you in the following minutes. Just to resume what these data are telling to us, give us some information on which we can do some hypotheses. The hypothesis of what are the main limitations or borders or constraints that limit Feldenkrais practitioner in the working together with other professionals. One limitation could be the visibility. The other professional doesn't know who the Feldenkrais practitioner is or what the Feldenkrais method can offer to patients and to clients. The second limitation could be skepticism. They don't know, they ignore what are the potentials of this method, and usually the somatic approach, yes, it's are not so easy to penetrate a medical background. And the third one is the access to healthcare system. If you are not a professional figure recognized by the ministry and all the system of the healthcare, it's difficult for the individual, the single professional, to enter and to relate with this world, the healthcare world. And this is another typology of limitations. Of course, in the right side, the hypothesis is how we could help improve this situation. Surely evidences with YouTube videos that are able to explain you, to give you hints about on what this Feldenkrais method is and can offer, or providing evidences, case studies, disseminating them can help to erase visibility of this method. But also pilots experience, also short-time experiences with other professionals could break the barriers, the constraints of skepticism. And the best of all should be also, because it happens, some professionals are very capable to relate and to open relations in this direction. But many other professionals are not able alone, and it's very difficult to do as in alone. So the recognition process and the capability to develop framework agreements between associations, that is very important for bettering the overall context. And in this way, the Professional Association of Feldenkrais has an important role to play. So I think I can stop here and hope that you could get some hints from these data. And I repeat you can go and download or read the report that is now available in English on the website of the project, and in the version in Italian, French, and German is upcoming soon. Upcoming soon in the next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorenza, for summarizing this part of the survey and the findings, and for giving us a sense of the broader picture as far as multi-professionalism in our community is concerned. So before asking my questions to spark the discussion, I would just like to go back a moment to the chat, because there's a question about, I don't know if the answer was enough. So it's about neurologists. So maybe no neurologists took part in the survey, or maybe they replied that they are working as medical doctors, right? Jens, this was your question. I cannot see you, but is the answer enough? Is it clear? Jens? Okay, thank you. Right, okay. Yeah.
Elisabetta, sorry,
Yes.
maybe when you asked the question before you asked her, but is there here anyone who never heard about Feldenkrais method before now?
The Feldenkrais method. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we can ask this question again at this point.
Is there anyone, now that you learned how to raise your hand, is there anyone here in this audience today that never heard of Feldenkrais method earlier? I missed this. I don't know if you asked before.
Yes.
You asked, and there were some
Well, not in these terms, not in such radical terms.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we are all acquainted with it to some extent. And so we would like to organize the exchange and the discussion in the next 45 minutes, more or less, around two focal points, two poles, mostly. And one are the benefits of our method within multi-professional contexts in healthcare. And the other one regards the challenges. I'm summarizing points that Lorenza already made. So I would like to address specifically those of us who have a further qualification, a further occupation within healthcare alongside their Feldenkrais qualification, the qualification as teachers or practitioners. And I would like to open the floor to you, asking, could you please share your experience, your insights about the benefits of our method when it comes to supporting a patient or a client within a multi-professional context? This is a very broad question, if we want to specify some of its aspects, I can just mention some questions as guidelines, but you don't, I mean, feel free to offer us your insights also regardless of my questions. These are just guidelines. So for example, well, first of all, okay, in which context are you working and what is your other occupation or occupations? How did you begin integrating Feldenkrais into this context? And what specific techniques or principles or approaches have you found most effective in healthcare settings? And what untapped potential do you see for the Feldenkrais method in healthcare? So let's start from positive experience. And I see a hand, Sisa. So please, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is of course not Sisa, but it is Sigrun. And I have been doing the Feldenkrais method since I was 19. I am in these days 60 years old. So I have done Feldenkrais method for a long time. I am also a music therapist and a special need teacher also. And I am right now working with the Feldenkrais method towards cerebral parese pupils with cerebral parese, and also if you have stroke. And we are very interested right now how we develop the motoric with the stroke pupil we have. We work with grown-up pupils, and these grown-up people are in rehabilitation first, and then they come to our educational system to get back things they have lost. We see that the body is very much in the way for many of these type of developments that they are going to do, you know, learn the language again. And we see that the nerve system and the motoric has problems, you know, and please, if my English is not well, just give back my information, stop me.
No, sorry, pardon me, I just want to ask you, in which country you are working?
I work in Norway.
Oh, thank you.
And we have and a very positive late experience we have is that when we work with stroke patients that have not even managed to receive education, so now we can do the method for a short while, and we get the body in place, we get the nerve system relaxed enough and in place, and they can receive, and it comes of course from their inside. We would like to go on with our language course now. I feel strong enough again. So this is one of the really big benefits we can achieve here, just for a start. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
And we look of, I just want to say that for us, it's about education. Feldenkrais is a pedagogic, in very big amount, pedagogic attitude and method, and we are learning the nerve system, give it information and dialogue. Yeah, so we, yeah. And we also have this question about the balance between special education and when is special education giving health benefits, but still is a special education and educational system. And we will also have that in Feldenkrais when we get a lot of health benefits from working on the nerve system in a pedagogic way. But there is a line here. We don't call it a health system so this is discussion I maybe will lift in this later. Yeah. Thank you.
Maybe it would be nice to know if there is a physician here with us today that can say to us and testify us if he never came across with Feldenkrais method or didn't come across with Feldenkrais method. Is there any physician, doctors, and any specialties in any disciplines here today with us?
We know that some physicians registered, and maybe they haven't joined yet, will not join. So thank you again.
Yes, there is one. Who's Jimenez? Or who's?
Hi,
you should open.
We cannot hear you. You are muted. Yes, now.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
Hello. I'm a physical therapist and a podiatrist as well. And well, thank you for organizing this type of event. It's very useful to know the organization of all our work around Europe. And at the beginning, I only wanted to listen, but I think it's great to share our experiences, and that's the reason why we are here. And well, I wanted to tell you that last year I finished a research project about Feldenkrais method in people with diabetes, with diabetic complication, with peripheral neuropathy. These people usually tend to fall more than healthy people, fall down, and they have problems with the sensing, with the feeling of touch and vibration, even pain in their feet. And I proposed a randomized control trial offering ATMs to these patients, and they improved in the short term because they were old people and it was not easy to follow up with the classes after the plan was finished. But in the short term, the sensibility had improved and they had better postural control. And all this is published, and I want to go on working with people with diabetes, also with obesity, because there is a very high prevalence in Spain. I'm from Madrid. I'm sorry I didn't say that. In Spain, but also in Europe, all around the world. And I think we have a lot to do there in that area, because sometimes people, whether if their nervous system is in problem or not, they have problems with their self-image. And because there is a chronic illness or there is obesity, and the self-image and the self-schema is not properly adjusted. And well, I have started with this research. I would like to propose some more. In relation to the habits and our educational profile as Feldenkrais practitioners, I think we can also offer help to these people, because we can go along with them. We can try to improve their own identity, or their own sensation, and even in the mental health area. So I want to explain this because I have some problems with my English and with the concept itself. Usually people with chronic illnesses or with obesity, which is considered an illness right now as well, have anxiety or sometimes depression at the beginning or during the illness. And a colleague said some minutes ago that we can relax the nervous system, the muscular tone, and we can help also with anxiety and with these sensations, helping people to improve their lifestyles and their habits in a daily basis. So that's the point where I would like to make some efforts in a near future. And yeah,
I have a question. So thanks for telling us about this rich experience and ideas of yours. You mentioned the randomized study, right? That you proposed to. I didn't understand exactly where, in which context you suggested you could do a randomized study.
I did. I did a randomized control trial.
Yes.
And in 2 hospitals here in Madrid, with people with peripheral neuropathy because of diabetes.
Great. And how did you introduce the Feldenkrais method to the medical team in order to be so successful and convince them to start a randomized study?
I am not sure if it was successful or not. I am a healthcare professional. I don't work in a hospital. I have my own office, but I have a lot of colleagues. And I had a partner who works in a public hospital. And I talked with her, and she's an endocrinologist. And she was happy to try this kind of training. I told her about Feldenkrais method. She even now doesn't know how to pronounce, how to spell the word, but she knows that it's kind of sensory motor training. And it's very well known that Tai Chi, most of all Tai Chi, is great for people with balance problems. And Feldenkrais method as a pedagogical sensory motor training could be, from my point of view, could be better introduced in healthcare domains that if we use only Feldenkrais method, which should tend to be more unknown. Do I explain myself?
Thank you. We are very interested in this project, in understanding how cooperation is started, how it starts, how what kind of dialogue takes place between Feldenkrais practitioners and other professionals in healthcare, especially in institutions. So that's why I asked my question, to better understand what kind of language you use, what kind of arguments you use to start the project.
I completely understand your question, because I think it's a key point. I had a lot of problems, and I had to readjust my language in order to make myself more clear to my colleagues. And even I have published these results in a paper, in a bodywork and movement therapies, is the name of the journal. And in the title, it does not appear the word Feldenkrais. It appears sensory motor training. And later in the abstract, you can know more about which kind of sensory motor training, and reading the full text, you can know more about Feldenkrais method. But I used to be afraid about how people react to Feldenkrais method. And I've realized, I don't know if it is the last true version of this topic, but I've realized that for this very moment, it's easier to know about something which can be even a movement therapy, no matter which name has. And later, when you show that it's really useful and it's very nice to practice. You can talk more about it, and people want to know the name and the history and all the features around the Feldenkrais method.
Thank you so much. Would you mind sending us the reference to the bibliographical reference to your article?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I can send you the full paper, the full text. It's open access. I will send it to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to add one thing, Elizabeth, if you leave me to do that, because the thing of the common language, that we should have with in order to be able to open connection and to open channels of communication with the physicians and medical professionals, is really the language. And these projects wanted also to try to do something to help in bettering or improving our awareness of what are the languages that we should adopt with this kind of potential professionals. And the fourth activities of this project wants to design a joint vocational training of 20 hours, not so long, but is an innovative. We try, we experiment, we explore this direction of training together with the physicians. And the objective is in 20 hours to make them experiment the method, make them have an experience of the method, and for us to learn their language. So that we can find a common point in the middle where we can communicate, because a lot of time is communication the reason why we are not able to propose our method in this context. So in springtime we are dealing with this thing.
Right. Thank you so much, Lorenza, for highlighting this point. I was also I also noticed that this is a very, I mean, one of the central points. Sorry, I'm also lost now in my English. I noticed we are an international group, so I think many of you can understand me. Okay, so we can either continue along this line and share insights, ideas, questions about how to develop a common language with other professionals, or as a moderator, I should continue on the previous line and ask if there are other contributions from the participants about the benefits, about how, which benefits you noticed, how can I say, facilitated through Feldenkrais within a multi-professional or interdisciplinary kind of intervention. So you have two options now. Either share with us your thoughts and experience about the question, how to develop a common language, what is needed in the professional fields you need. Is it further training? Of course, what is needed? And or you can talk about the benefits that you see. So please, the floor is again yours, dear public or dear guests. And thank you to the contributions we had so far. Again, yes, please.
Okay.
We cannot see you entirely. We see the building behind you. Maybe you can.
There is also Nicolien van der Paas, I think, that just raised physically the hand.
Okay, I cannot see
in your list.
Yes, I cannot see physical hands. I'm sorry. So first of all, yes, please.
Who's going to talk? Okay.
Was it I who should talk?
Yes.
Okay.
Sigrid, is it me?
Yes, please,
Okay.
not
I
longer
think
than
that
1
the
minute.
way,
Okay.
yeah, just stop me. Because I think it's very good to start with the somatic system, the nerve system, because the nerve system, everyone in health will understand and will know about. And by explaining that we address the somatic nerve system and do movements and do work there, the next is to give them the information that when we do that, it also give effects in the autonomic system and in all of the other nerve systems that is there. This is for everyone. I will. When we work, it also affects the sympathetic nerve system when we do movement in the somatic nerve system. It also affects the parasympathetic nerve system when we do movement in the somatic nerve system. And it also affects the enteric nerve system when we do the somatic nerve system. And this is, and if we go as this as a way of going into the talk about the system, we will have a platform who is a platform for very many people. So if they are doctors, if they are physiotherapists, if they are teachers, if they are other practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
This is my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next system is to know the difference between the neuropedagogic and other kind of way of organizing things. But that when we work with the somatic nerve system, we affect the chemicals in the body. We affect the taste, the smell, the awakeness, and the clearness, and we may and we don't, and we affect other parameters when we work on the somatic system. And I think that is what makes it difficult for many people. How are we going to explain the method? How are we going to show all these levels? That's complicated. So I will never say that you should. I think it's not. Don't talk about all the levels. This has to come later. And so this is just my thinking. My suggestions is to talk that we are working on the movement, but when we do, this affect other parts of our human system, emotional, movement, and other kinds. And we have yeah. I think that was good enough. Okay.
Thank you. It was clear. Thank you so much.
This was my thinking.
So I think the next one is Nicoline,
yes,
and then
Nicoline.
Christian Reutel.
Yes. So Nicoline, thank you so much for joining. We were together in the training. Where are you working, Nicoline?
Yeah, other colleague. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't have to say that much because we're all practitioners almost. So I don't have to explain anything. But I wanted to approach it a little bit different. I think that we need awareness in the world and in all the fields that you can imagine. So that's certainly important to try to see how it fits into healthcare. For talking about myself, I was a physical therapist. And in the Western world, we are a little bit spoiled with organizations who are paying for our treatments if we need some help. In the Eastern part of the world, that's completely different. There, people can take responsibility for themselves and otherwise they die because they don't have a health system. And I think that if we're talking about Feldenkrais, physical therapy, there you are as a physical therapist, a teacher, and being a practitioner, you try to go a little bit more towards the preventive side of healthcare and try to learn to teach somebody themselves. Is that right English? I don't know. So so that somebody can organize himself in a way so that his health can improve and therefore the quality of his life. That's I think very important. So the responsibility for taking care of yourself, that's the main issue in bringing it into all the professions in healthcare, also for specialists. I often have a few neurologists where I have clients from who all of a sudden, after a treatment of a few months in the Feldenkrais method, after having a herniation, that the specialists give up already. And he is saying after a few months in the first control, what did you do? Because I cannot find any sign anymore of your disease, or how do you say it, that the nerve is breaking down somewhere in the periphery. And then clients try to explain what they were doing by being aware in slow movements, and it's often not understood. So of course there's also work to be done on the language that we're using, for sure. In Holland, we use often awareness through movement and not the Feldenkrais method, because the name is so strange and doesn't speak to nobody. But of course, that's the method. So why shouldn't we use it like that and focus a little bit more of the fields that you can engage yourself in? That's my contribution.
Thank you so much, Nicolien. And Nicolien, you're from Holland, the Netherlands.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, Christiane Reuter, please.
Yeah, hello. I want to go a step further.
Okay.
As Nicolien said, why we wait until health is gone? That makes me sometimes a little bit angry that I read an article a short time ago where Feldenkrais is a method for people who have chronic diseases or pain and so on. And I said the method has so much potential. And I'm coming from industry. I'm a chemist, and I worked for a long time, more than 25 years in the chemistry. And I was there. I don't want to go for health care, but I would say health protection. And even you can workplace health protection. You can train the people with our method to get self-awareness and self-care. And you can then even protect damages and pain in advance. And so my vision is to contact and to go into discussion with the industries and to say, hey, do you want to have really, even in this environment that we all are complaining about, that we do not have enough workers, and with a democratic, know how it is, in English, I mean, I'm missing the English, demographic change, so that we have a lot of young people, and we need also older people, but the older people have a lot of pain, but the younger people will get this pain as well if you don't start to protect them. And I think that you show that in your film, in the we learned everything we learned when we were young, and we lost it so early, and we have to come back to this and not wait until we have any diseases, we have any pain. So that is my vision, but I want to communicate more all the advantages Feldenkrais method has to train the people in self-care and self-protection then also, and health protection.
Thank you so much. Yes, for a little bit more background, you are working in Germany, right? Because you are in Germany. You are working in Germany.
I'm in Germany, yes.
Yeah, because just for the other participants. Okay, yeah. So you are advocating more for the preventive role, but I think this is also part of the European Union vision about healthcare. So it's not just intervention, but also prevention. So I think it fits, at least. No, you don't agree.
In principle, I agree, but I very, very often read that Feldenkrais is already for the people who have pain And that is, and also when we discuss it here with in collaboration with doctors and with physiotherapists and so on, you can really even start even earlier in the process and train the people for self-care. That is my
Yeah, I understand.
That is my idea, but I have not really a different opinion, but the direction is a little bit different.
Yes.
So I want to address the people.
Self-care, very nice.
And yes, so self-care and awareness from Nicolene's contribution.
And I have only one more sentence. If we talk about self-care, health care, in Germany, health care is a little bit like wellness. And Feldenkrais is much more than wellness. And that is why I like to talk here about health protection and not health care. That is probably in English more or less the same, but in the German understanding, in Germany, it's completely different.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, we are adopting a very broad definition of healthcare, wellness, and well-being, and that's also why we have these three terms under one category. For example, in the registration form, which sometimes upsets physicians among us. So this is also a point for a broader discussion. Thank you. So Carsten, please, it's your turn. Where are you from, or where are you working?
I live in Germany and work at the psychosomatic clinic in the southwest of Germany. For many years, since 1998. I'm a sports scientist in my first profession, and at that clinic I work as a Feldenkrais teacher. To the last points, I was part of a project a few years ago. There were some Feldenkrais teachers. They gave seminars to workers of telecom, of the telecom group.
Ute?
Yes, with her and another practitioner, and we took 3 years, I think, different themes, and it was great work, but I had this feeling that the employers they took that seminar and it was in their working time, and they had to do some of that, and some of them chose the Feldenkrais theme, but if they had to pay for it, their own money, to do more of that, most of them wouldn't do. And that's the same I realize in my work in the clinic. Some patients are living near here and in the region, and very few of them will come in my courses after the clinic. Not they say I like that, and I could feel the benefit, and it was very great, and it's magic and such things. But it's a big step to do that and to integrate it in the daily life, and to go to course and some things. And one point of that is in Germany, they get some things to do paid from the insurance. They can do a yoga course or some things But Feldenkrais is not in that. And so they don't do it, or many of them. And that's, I don't want to get paid by the insurance from me. I don't like that. But it's I realized that many people look through that classes to say, okay, I take that what I can get free. And so I think it's very difficult to get to the people and to catch them to do things for their own protection, health protection, whatever you take. And so they so you come to the language we use. I heard from, don't know where it was, to say we address the somatic nervous system, and that is in connection with, yes, and others do that too. And they could say the same thing. And my colleagues in the sports, in the clinic, they do some things. They say that's good. It's exactly that. We work with movement and with the body, and that makes developments in the nervous system, and so on and so on. And we can say, yeah, I say I do that too, and you see it helps them to deal better way with their depression and so on. Yes, you do, but we do it too. Why do we need you? It's a problem I have to deal with in this job, and with my colleagues. They appreciate, they like my work. And yes, and the patients say that's very nice and imagining things. But I think we have a problem to bring forward our what's special about our work, and there's so much of that, and I think that's not the easiest thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Carsten. We still have 1 more minute. Not much time. I would like to take 1 more contribution still. Okay, please. I'm afraid of pronouncing your name in a wrong way, so that's why I'm not calling you by your name. Please.
This is what you mentioned here is a problem all over the Feldenkrais world, you know, and it's been discussed a lot, many places. You know, we are a private enterprise system. That's the fact. Everything in Feldenkrais is private enterprise. And to manage to organize all the earnings, we have to, you know, develop our private enterprise capability. All of us doesn't have that. And there is a thing to address in our system. That's one thing. The other thing is that there is opened up, lifted a criticism because in all, especially Scandinavia, people are used to go to their healthcare system and get the help they need without paying the money. This is the fact. This is the fact. Yeah, I will need to go to the dentist, but I don't have the money. So, and I'm used that the system is paying for me, and if I cannot get it, I cannot do it. This is a fact. This is a part of it. This is the system of it. And there is a system about if we start like in some places, there's a criticism. This is what I will bring forward now. If we start bringing in that we have healthcare system paying for the patient, or not, that was a very wrong word, the pupil, will that beat the legs under our activities? Because if I get in a system where I can, by some people, get the payment, and by some people I don't get support, is that a problem that we need to lift and think about? Because we know that, and is that the, and then we have the other way around. Is it totally bad to only be private enterprise, totally the whole line? Like yoga, people go and pay for the yoga, and they are there. So I think it's not always to that the method is not wonderful, because the method is wonderful, and we will develop our communication about it, how to work it. But it's about that when we are trained in the system, we also need support in developing ourselves as private enterprise people, and how to do that. Because the communication about the value of the method, I think that's today for me, after so many years in the method, that is not like a complication in the same way. But I have the same complication in starting a private enterprise and succeed with that private enterprise. This is something some people are clever at and others are not. But are we helping each other by that we have payment system, or are we destroying for each other by having that some people can sell it cheaper than other people can? And it's we, yeah, I just want to lift this aspect. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I think that we are going to the end of this meeting. That is the first meeting. Interesting.
Yes.
But I would like to add the last thing about this fact of the project and the possibilities to have this kind of activities paid by the government. Here in Italy, there is and there was a very good practice situation based on the activity of a person who has a high capacity, a great capacity to open channels to the policies makers and to the funding also. And so in a region of ours, in Veneto, it was able to open, this person was able to have a low cost where people living in Veneto, in this region of Italy, if they have children or other components of the family who are handicapped people with disabilities, and they want to use Feldenkrais method or a few other methods, they can revenge this money to the local government. And this wasn't successful. This is only a single situation that should be taken, analyzed, and understand how to replicate it in other region in Italy. But I understand that also you in Scandinavia you have similar proposal and difficulties to promote this kind of solutions. I think that just to say to you that the project wants to do something about this way, and much depends on the fact that our professions is not formally recognized by our national bodies, our governance body. So we got a success here in Italy. Just this year, we could work to have the classification, the economical classifications of jobs. Now we have a code for the Feldenkrais practitioners. We have never had before. And for example, during the pandemic period, we were not allowed to work, while other professionals similar to ours, but that had specific codes for working with the health of people, of citizens, were allowed to work irrespective of the closure of the pandemic. So I really don't hope that we are going and approach another pandemic situation. But nowadays in Italy, we have a code for recognizing our work. But in Europe as well, because in order to get this code in Italy, it was important to have just the adding of a word in the European classifications. This is very important for your countries as well, because this makes you open the door to ask for similar codes in your countries. That opens a lot of situation where you can go on step by step, and maybe in 1 year, in the next year, we will be able to have our activities funded by the local governance administration as well.
And asking is, will that be good for us totally? Because it can look very good, but like there is in Norway, we have people running after all people who are different kind of systems, and would really like to get everyone out of their market, you know. So the systems can be very different. Like in Germany, you have to become a therapist to be allowed to do it. So this is a structural situation that sometimes will affect us a lot, and that everyone has to, you know, think about and how to handle and how to deal with. And then I think when it comes to explaining the effects of the method, what is working, I think mostly we know that today. So it's more about we're going to make some films, and we can make films about getting to explain for healthcare system. Like, I just have to say something. I'm thinking about, you know, wow, if the doctors of the world understood what we could do with the nurse system, you know, if they just understood and if they just got it. So this is a communication, like you start here then, to find out how the nurse system is and explain why it works so well. This we will manage, and we have managed already for a long time, I think. Yeah. So we just have to make it simple enough.
Thank you again for your contribution, and also to Lorenza. So we are unfortunately about to close the event. I'm thankful to all of you. I saw participants from all corners of Europe, from Eastern Europe, Northern, Central, and Southern Europe, and maybe also from somewhere else, I'm not sure. So we started this conversation. This is just the first international pan-European meeting. We will have 2 more of them. And if you want to follow the project or to help and support with your ideas, maybe also with your practical contribution, just write to us per email, or subscribe to our newsletter. I just like to say that we will also address, as Lorenza already hinted at, we will address the recognition of our method in the national systems by the governance bodies. And of course, we cannot solve this problem throughout Europe, but we are working towards understanding how to how to expand the benefits of this innovation in Italy that Lorenza talked about, the partial recognition, the fact that there is now a professional code for Feldenkrais practitioners, at least in one country, a member country of the European Union. Then we will also continue to address the question about the language that we need to develop in order to help or to talk with physicians and also policymakers, not only physicians or other professionals. I saw in the chat again the link to the evaluation questionnaire, so I kindly ask you to take a few minutes to go through that and evaluate the present meeting, and I'd be happy, we will all be happy to see you again or to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and see you next time. So
ciao, ciao.
Keep tuned with the project on the website and register to the project to receive the newsletters. So you will be advised time by time.
Oh, okay. The next meeting, the last question in the chat, when will be the next meeting? We are planning. So it will be for certain within a few months because we still have 1 year to go. I'm sorry, we haven't a schedule yet, but you will get it through the newsletter if you subscribe to it. Thank you. Bye. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bye. Bye to
Ciao.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you for your participation.